and that is going to put an end to the era of Mike McDaniel being the head coach of the Miami Dolphins here. That's it. He should be done. They lost to the Carolina Panthers. They were winning 17-0 at one point in the first half of this game and blew a lead in epic and, quite simply put, spectacular, almost miraculous fashion. They snatched defeat from the jaws of certain victory, and for that, Mike McDaniel should not make it to Monday whatsoever. There's no way this guy makes it to Monday, right? Because he just has proven that he has no ability to coach. And I can't even really put this game on Tua. Tua played a pretty decent game. Yes, he was poor on the final drive of the game, but he should have never been put in a situation where they needed to go down and score to win the game when they were up 17-0 in the very first quarter of the game, looking like they were going to run away with it, looking like they were going to dominate. That should have never been the situation. So Tua, he's not even to blame. He actually played decently well. So he gets none of the blame for me. It's all on coaching, and their run defense is just atrocious. I mean, Rico Dowdle was looking like fucking prime Emmitt Smith out there. It was ridiculous. He was breaking off 20, 30, 40, 50-yard runs every other run. He had like 200 yards rushing in this game. Rico Dowdle, who is a career good, he's like a good second running back, fringe starting running back in the league. They made him look like the best running back in the league today. Just embarrassing. I know there's injuries and all that stuff, but it's embarrassing. Whoever the defensive coordinator for this team is has to go, has to be fired after this game. Just a humiliating run defense effort from this Dolphins team. That's for damn sure. And as for the offense, 19 rushing yards is the end-all, be-all of this game. That's the main statistic I will take away from this game for the Dolphins. They had 19 rushing yards in today's game against the Carolina Panthers. 19 fucking yards on the ground, because guess what? Initially, when the ground game wasn't working, they abandoned it. They started going empty, going shotgun every single fucking play. And that is the tendency of a Madden player. That is not something that a real coach does, is that they have a couple unsuccessful runs and they just forget that the run game is a staple of football, and they just start throwing it all over the place. And, I mean, Tua, once again, did a good job this game. He was good, but this is a situation you never want to put your quarterback in. You know, unless you have an elite quarterback, you don't want to put you don't want to put a quarterback like Tua in a situation like that late in the game, because that means that you failed to establish the run game whatsoever. And let me talk about the most idiotic decision I've seen a coach make this season. It was, 4th and 15 or something with under 2 minutes and all 3 timeouts, and any normal coach would say, we got to go for it. We can't let them get the ball, because then they will decide the outcome, and determine the outcome of this game. We'll go for it. And, if we don't get it, tough luck. At least we tried to, put the balls to the wall and keep this football game alive. Mike McDaniel made the decision to punt the ball. Oh, but he had all 3 timeouts. He had every right and reason to do so. No, he didn't. An idiot coach does that. An idiot coach gives the other team the ball and gives the other team a chance to ice and win the football game. He literally handed the victory to the Carolina Panthers, because he is an absolute idiot when it comes to clock management. He is an absolute idiot when it comes to basic aspects of the game of football. He doesn't understand a goddamn thing, and it shows on Sundays. So what is it going to take for this front office to see what they need to see and fire this motherfucker effective immediately, because he is absolutely horrendous as a head coach? This is not a head coach. This is someone who is not a leader, someone who cannot cultivate the locker room, get them to play in tough, inspired, gritty football when they need to. He's not a guy who's going to lead the team. He's not the guy to give this big speeches and all that stuff. He's a guy who's laid back. He's a bit relaxed, calm in demeanor, but that shtick fades eventually when your team isn't winning every game. And what are they? They're 1-4. Well, they're 1-4. They lost to one of the worst teams in the NFL. They lost to Bryce Young, who for the first 3 quarters of the game could not complete a pass. They lost to that quarterback. That is the quarterback they lost to. He threw an interception and fumbled in the first 2 drives. That is the guy they lost to. They lost to a guy who is 5'8". That is a fireable offense within itself. But then you add in everything else, the abandonment, the lack of run game whatsoever, the non-creativity from this scrub. I love how everyone says how creative and how much of a fucking genius this idiot is. No fucking NFL team is going to give this guy a chance. He will be coaching in college, and he won't even be a head coach. He will be an offensive coordinator for some slack scrub team like Wake Forest next year. There's no way an NFL team sees this film and says, this is the guy we want. The guy who's going to abandon the run when you need to establish it. The guy who's going to abandon the run when they're barely winning and need to take time off the clock. That's not the guy you need to be running the offense, all right? To be calling the plays for the team. Yet here he is, he's calling the plays for the team, and he's calling the worst plays in the worst situations. And that's what really sort of is a main talking point of this video as well. He is calling the most shit plays in the worst possible scenarios, and that has driven me up a wall. And the punt just near the end of the game, it was a surrender. It was him knowing he was going to get fired. There's no point if Tua throws a pick. It's game over or whatever the hell, Maybe he was trying to protect Tua because he likes the guy. I don't know, man, personally. I have no idea what that decision was, what he was thinking, what was going through his mind when he made that decision to punt the football in a do-or-die situation in the late stage of the game. It's just crazy to me that an NFL head coach, this isn't a coordinator, this isn't an analyst, this isn't a fucking ball boy. He is an NFL head coach, and he actually made that decision. That is a decision that he made himself. He punted the ball in a do-or-die late game situation. That's a fireable coach. That's someone who does not want to be coaching an NFL team anymore. That's somebody who has no will to be coaching the team anymore. Someone who has no passion for coaching the team anymore. Someone who shouldn't be coaching the team anymore. And he's fired himself, essentially. He played himself out of a job as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins today. What I saw on the field today was a fucking disgrace. It was an absolute joke. They had Carolina dead to rights the first half, right? First quarter went up 17-0. Game's over, right? They're going to run away. They're going to win like 38-10 or something. Bryce Young was horrible for 3 quarters. I mean, how does a quarterback play that bad for 3 quarters and end up the winning quarterback? I have no fucking idea. Bryce Young, his career is going to, I don't care if they won this game. To me, there's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there. You could say he's clutch and all that, but against a competent team, that would never, ever happen. The Patriots are a competent team, and they made sure that shit did not happen. The Dolphins are so poorly ran, so shit, it's not even funny, and it all goes back to the head coach being an incompetent fucking idiot in every single phase of the game. Doesn't understand play calling, doesn't understand clock management, doesn't understand game situations, doesn't understand a thing. He literally understands nothing as a head coach. Yet he's still the head coach. Why? I couldn't tell you if I wanted to. If I had the answers, maybe I'd tell you, but even then if I had the answers, they'd probably be stupid answers, and nobody would actually think they're the answers in all reality. And the thing is with McDaniel, when they hired him, a lot of people were thinking they were getting some offensive genius, right? Some guy who, it doesn't matter if he's a leader or, it doesn't matter. He's not like a vocal sort of guy and all that shit. None of that mattered, right? Everyone, sort of pushed that aside and pushed it to the wayside and said it doesn't matter. And to an extent, it doesn't, right? Ben Johnson's not a rah-rah speech guy, right? He seems to be, on a good trajectory so far in his head coaching career. But the thing is with Mike McDaniel, he is just someone who will get grating, will get tiring, will get irritating, and will become hated if the team doesn't play well. His shtick is really cool when he's winning games and making the playoffs. His shtick is borderline fucking just irritating, and it's angering when the team is losing. And this guy and his nonchalant ass answers at the press conferences after they lose every fucking time, trying to diffuse the situation like he's some cool guy. And once again, he dresses like a Cuban drug lord. The guy's an embarrassment. He really is. He's not made to be an NFL head coach. It's not that hard to admit that, right? The Mike McDaniel truthers are going to say somehow this is on Tua, somehow it's on the running backs, it's on whatever the fuck, right? He called a shit game. They tried to run, this fucking, we're going to throw it every single play. They abandoned the run. They just didn't run. They didn't run at all. When they ran, they didn't succeed, but they didn't try to establish it later on in the game. Mike McDaniel just is horrible. I mean, there's no way he makes it to Monday. Like, he can't. If you're the owners of this team, how are you seeing this and think that that's an acceptable coach in this league? He is not. He's not even close. Once again, I wouldn't take him as an analyst. I wouldn't take him as a coordinator. I wouldn't take him as an offensive advisor. I wouldn't take him as an assistant. I wouldn't take him as the ball boy. I wouldn't take him if he was dressed up in cosplay as a fucking traffic cone on the sideline. I don't care if he was a cameraman. I don't care if he was a side judge. I don't care if he was a referee, if he was part of the chain gang, if he was a heckling fan in the goddamn stands. I don't care if he is a Make-A-Wish kid. I don't give a fuck what he is. He doesn't belong on the Miami Dolphins sideline because he's fucking horrible. And we've already established that, but I feel the need to say it. He's fucking horrible. And he does not belong as the coach of this team anymore. This team deserves a better coach, to be honest with you. Football's better when Miami's a good team and Miami's not good because guess what? The fucking coach is a dumbass. A scrub. And that's all I have to say about Mike McDaniel. This is probably the final ever video I'll make on him because this insufferable dwarf is going to almost certainly be fired tomorrow. And the Dolphins fan base will celebrate. And rightfully so, man. Thank you all for watching. This has been Mr. Truth, and this was nothing but the truth.